Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We're going to be talking crypto today. And, it's always a wild ride, but especially this past week.
Definitely wild.
But even with the market, taking a bit of a dip,
Yeah,
it seems like there's still so much going on,
absolutely.
like under the surface.
Yeah, there's a lot more than just the price fluctuations that are happening right now. There's
Yeah.
a lot of institutional interests, new partnerships are constantly popping up,
Really?
and tech advancements that could seriously change the game.
So much to unpack then.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. First things first, what's the overall market looking like these days after this dip everyone's talking about?
Well, the overall market cap actually shrunk about 5%, which brings it down to $3.44 trillion.
Wow, 3.44 trillion.
Yeah.
That's still a huge number.
Even with the dip, it's a hefty chunk of change.
It is. It makes you wonder if this whole crypto thing is really more than just a fad at this point.
I think it's safe to say that crypto has firmly planted its flag. And one really interesting thing is that while prices took a tumble, trading volume actually increased by over 20%,
Oh, wow.
which tells me there's a whole lot of action happening behind the scenes.
So maybe it's an opportunity for those in the know.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit and talk about the big players that everyone's always watching, Bitcoin and Ethereum. How did they fare this past week?
Well, Bitcoin, as always, showed its resilience, just a little wobble in price, but its market dominance actually went up.
So even though the price dipped,
Yeah,
it's still holding a bigger slice of the overall pie.
exactly. It means that even though the price dipped, it's still holding a bigger slice of the overall crypto pie.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like people are still flocking to Bitcoin as that safe haven, even when things get a little rocky.
Makes sense.
But what about Ethereum?
Ethereum saw a much sharper decline, almost 7%.
7%, ouch.
Yeah. There are a few things that could be at play here. Rising competition from other blockchains that are kind of nipping at its heels. Maybe some specific news that spooked investors or just the overall market jitters. Remember, Ethereum is still relatively young compared to Bitcoin, so it tends to swing a bit more wildly.
Okay. Makes sense. A little bit of a roller coaster then for Ethereum this week.
You could say that.
But speaking of roller coasters, I saw some tokens called Pudgy Penguins
Uh-huh.
and one called Brett that absolutely tanked.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta ask, who are these penguins and what did Brett do?
Yes. The wonderful world of crypto where penguins can become tokens and anyone named Brett can inspire a digital asset.
I mean, it never gets dull, right?
Never a dull moment.
It's true. So not every project is, this super serious world-changing thing.
Right. Not every project is about revolutionizing finance or building complex technology. Some are just pure fun,
Right.
community-driven, maybe a dash of meme magic thrown in.
I guess that's what keeps things interesting.
It is.
It's not all serious business all the time. But speaking of serious business, what's the deal with Bitcoin ETFs gobbling up more Bitcoin than was actually mined last month? Is that even possible?
It is, and it's a sign of something big brewing.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
These ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, are basically baskets of assets that you can invest in. Think of them like a crypto mutual fund.
Gotcha.
And in December, they swallowed up nearly 3 times the amount of Bitcoin that was mined.
Whoa, wait, so more Bitcoin was bought up by these ETFs than was actually created?
Yeah, that's a pretty big appetite, wouldn't you say?
That's mind-boggling.
It is.
So while some folks are out there riding the penguin roller coaster,
Right.
the big players are quietly stacking Bitcoin like it's going out of style.
Exactly. It really highlights the different layers of the crypto market, doesn't it?
It does.
You've got your meme-driven tokens on one side and then these institutional giants on the other making moves that ripple through the entire ecosystem.
So for someone like me just dipping my toes into this crypto ocean, what's the takeaway here?
I think the main takeaway is that it's all about understanding the lay of the land. Do your research. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially if it's a penguin-shaped one. And remember, diversification is your friend.
Solid advice.
Okay, so let's kick things off with some good news actually coming out of India. Remember that WazirX hack from last year?
Oh, yeah. Millions of dollars just poof, gone.
Yeah, it vanished into thin air. It was a huge blow to the crypto community, especially in India.
For sure.
But here's where things get interesting. CoinSwitch, another big player in the Indian crypto scene, has stepped up to the plate with a $70 million recovery fund for the victims of that hack.
$70 million.
Well, the Indian crypto market has been navigating some pretty choppy regulatory waters lately.
Oh, right.
This move by CoinSwitch is a giant, like a giant beacon of goodwill. It's aiming to rebuild trust and show that they're really committed to the long-term health of the industry in India.
So kind of like we've got your back even when things get rough. Okay, but shifting gears a little bit, things are also getting kind of heated in the U.S. regulatory arena. The chair of the CFTC, Rostin Benham, just announced his resignation. And D called for urgent crypto regulations before he walks out the door.
He did. It seems like he's making a statement on his way out.
Right.
You know, Benham has been a strong voice for stricter regulations, especially when it comes to that wild west of crypto derivatives and trading.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So his departure leaves a big question mark hanging over the CFTC. What direction will they take now?
More uncertainty then for the U.S. market.
At least for now.
Well, at least Gemini managed to settle that lawsuit with the CFTC, right?
They did. They reached a $5 million settlement.
That's right.
Over allegations that they provided misleading information about their early Bitcoin futures contract. Now, $5 million might seem like a slap on the wrist for a company like Gemini.
Yeah.
But it really signals that the CFTC is serious about holding exchanges accountable, and it could set a precedent for future cases.
Okay, so regulators flexing their muscles, exchanges, scrambling to stay compliant. It's all part of this evolving landscape, right?
It is.
But amidst all of this, we have Ripple and Chainlink joining forces,
Yeah.
which is a very interesting partnership.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me more.
They're teaming up to boost RLUSD, which is Ripple's stablecoin,
Okay.
to make it a bigger player in DeFi transactions.
Gotcha.
And Chainlink's role in this partnership is to provide secure price data, which is also known as Oracle, which are crucial for these stablecoin transactions to run smoothly.
Okay, so this partnership is about making RLUSD more reliable and user-friendly for folks navigating that DeFi space.
Exactly. And that ripple effect, pun intended, could spread throughout the entire DeFi market and really push RLUSD adoption across different blockchain ecosystems.
Okay, but hold on. Things are about to get really interesting.
Uh-oh.
A central bank considering Bitcoin. Is this a sign of the apocalypse?
Not quite, but it is a significant development. The Czech National Bank has actually mentioned that they're exploring the possibility of adding Bitcoin to their reserves.
A central bank holding Bitcoin. That's like a cat inviting a mouse in for tea. What's happening?
It might seem counterintuitive, but it really speaks volumes about the growing acceptance of Bitcoin as a legitimate store of value and a potential hedge against inflation. If the Czech Republic actually follows through with this, it could be a real watershed moment, signaling to other nations that Bitcoin deserves a place at the table.
Okay, this crypto world is just full of surprises. But let's not forget about the aftermath of the FTX collapse.
Right.
Is anyone brave enough to kind of pick up the pieces after that whole debacle?
Actually, yes, Backpack, a crypto exchange, has just acquired FTX Europe.
Wow, really?
They're taking over the remaining assets and operations, including the FTX bankruptcy claims.
So Backpack is stepping into FTX's shoes in Europe. That's a bold move considering everything that happened.
It is. They're clearly aiming to become a major player in the European market, especially now that FTX is out of the picture. And their strategy seems to be focused on providing a secure and compliant platform, which is, crucial for rebuilding trust after that FTX debacle.
Absolutely. Speaking of rebuilding trust, Solana is also going through some major upgrades right now.
Yeah.
I heard they're working on tackling their network issues.
That's right. Solana has been wrestling with network congestion and high transaction fees. Their proposed solution is a new system called Lattice.
Lattice?
Which is basically a way to optimize how the blockchain handles all that data and all those transactions.
So it's like giving Solana a turbocharged engine to handle all that DeFi and NFT traffic.
Exactly. Scalability is a make-or-break challenge for any blockchain hoping to go mainstream. If Solana can pull this off, it could become a much more attractive platform for developers and users alike.
We're riding a wave of information here, folks, but we're not done yet.
Not even close.
There's still more to unpack.
What's the latest with Hashkey? I heard they're making some moves over in Europe.
They just got themselves a VASP license in Ireland.
A VASP license?
Okay, and remind me what a VASP license is.
A VASP license, or virtual asset service provider, is basically like a badge of approval to operate in the crypto world.
Gotcha.
And this falls under the new MiCA regulation, the EU's big plan to create a unified set of rules for crypto across all its member states.
Okay, so this license is kind of a big deal then for Hashkey.
It's huge. It opens doors for them to expand their operations throughout the EU, and it also gives Ireland a boost as a crypto-friendly hub.
So Ireland's becoming a bit of a crypto hub.
It really is.
Interesting. It's fascinating to see how different countries are approaching these crypto regulations. It's like a big global puzzle where each country is trying to find its own piece.
Yeah, and a constantly shifting puzzle at that.
Very true. Well, speaking of shifting sands, things are getting a little dramatic over in Reddit's NFT community. Their lead developer just up and left the project.
He did.
What does that mean for all those Reddit avatars that people were collecting?
Yeah, it's definitely created some uncertainty for sure.
Right.
This departure, combined with the recent dip in Reddit's NFT trading volume, has some folks wondering if Reddit is really still all in on NFTs.
It makes you wonder if NFTs are just a fad or if they really have some staying power.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Hmm.
I believe NFTs have the potential to really change how we think about digital ownership and, create new ways to build communities and engage online. But like any new technology, there are going to be bumps in the road.
Absolutely. So let's take a step back then and look at the big picture. We've covered a lot of ground today, from market dips and regulatory twists and turns to Bitcoin hoarding and even those quirky penguin tokens. What are the key takeaways here for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the crypto world is anything but boring. Even with the market taking a bit of a breather, we're seeing institutional players stepping in, regulations are taking shape, and new partnerships are forming all the time. It's a dynamic space.
That's for sure. It really does feel like we're just at the beginning of something huge.
I think so too. And speaking of beginnings, here's a thought-provoking question for our listeners to ponder.
Okay, I like it.
What role will stablecoins play in the future?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Could they be the bridge that connects traditional finance and the crypto world? It's something to think about as you continue your crypto journey.
A lot to think about for sure.
There is.
That's a great question to leave everyone with. And remember, folks, this is just a glimpse into the vast and ever-evolving world of crypto. There's a whole universe of information out there waiting to be discovered. So keep learning, stay curious, and as always, dive deep.